A crash involving a suspected drunk driver has once again raised the question, should the Malahat have its own highway patrol? A man believed to have been drunk spent a night behind bars after he wound his way along the Malahat on Sunday afternoon. The driver eventually smashing into another vehicle. That car was sent to the ditch, the family inside sent to the hospital. 4 different police departments and detachments knew about the driver, but they could not get him off the road in time. Many wonder if a dedicated highway patrol for the Malahat would have made a difference. CTV's Joe Perkins has the story.
It's the end result of a crash that shouldn't have happened.
It was bad. He didn't even hit his brakes. He just hit the family.
Witnesses say this green pickup truck was seen heading north on the Malahat, weaving through traffic, driving on the shoulder, and doing it all at speeds up to 130 kilometers per hour.
I've never seen anything like that in my life.
Eventually, the joyride comes to an end.
Tries to go around. Unfortunately, this family of 4 clips the back end of it, forcing it into the ditch.
Trapped inside, a grandmother, an aunt, and 11-year-old twins from Courtney, all suffering from injuries including broken bones, internal bleeding, and at least 1 punctured lung.
The driver of the suspect vehicle attempted to flee the scene and made it about 150 yards.
That's when his car broke down, allowing witnesses to contain the suspect until Shawnigan Lake RCMP arrived. But before officers were on the scene, the RCMP already knew about the suspected drunk driver. Witnesses had already told Saanich Police the driver was headed north. Saanich Police then called Westshore, Shawnigan Lake, and Duncan RCMP, but it wasn't enough.
Honestly, it's tough with the resources that we have in Shawnigan to have a continual presence on the Malahat.
Shawnigan Lake's jurisdiction is just one of a section of what Staff Sergeant Frank Wright calls a fractured enforcement picture.
I think it needs a plan that encompasses the entirety of the Malahat, with someone being the lead agency to respond.
It's exactly what was called for when the Capital Regional District's Integrated Road Safety Unit released the results of its Making the Malahat Safer campaign. Since then, the only change has been the announcement of barriers, but even a barrier would not have stopped this.
And I think we've made a big step ahead looking at that median barrier, and we're always going to continue to look at ways to make that stretch of highway safer for people.
But a dedicated Malahat team does not seem to be coming.
Any commitment of resources like that, as far as an integrated or regional type approach, it's really administered at a higher level.
The minister says island resources are determined by police agencies, and for now those police resources remain largely detached. There is communication, but it wasn't enough to stop Sunday's crash. It is the process that's in place and will likely be in place come this summer when highway traffic picks up.
CTV's Joe Perkins joins us now live with more. Joe, it seems to make so much sense, and yet there are several roadblocks preventing a dedicated enforcement team on the Malahat. Do you think it's ever going to happen?
Well, Hudson, it appears it's largely up to the RCMP. It has jurisdiction over the entire length of the Malahat. We put a call in to ask what the future looks like, but did not hear back. You heard the Justice Minister say the Malahat is a priority, but there is no indication that Minister Bond will be pushing for a dedicated Malahat team, at least not in the near future. As for the driver, he was released from the Duncan jail this morning. RCMP are recommending several charges, including impaired driving, and he has a court appearance on July the 1st.
All right, Joe Perkins, thank you.
You're welcome.